All right, so this morning we are going to talk about a new-ish tool. It's been around for a while. If you are not aware of this really cool tool on SkySlope, it is in our SkySlope. I guess I could back up, but I'm not going to. It's in One Design, the Creative Studio. So for those, how many of you have been in the One Design Creative Studio that are here? A couple of you have, okay. How many of you have scrolled down, past the favorites, past the templates up here, and the flyers, you can do business cards, you've got door hangers. How many have gone down to this thing that says Realty One Group Prospect Guides? No. I know this gentleman over here has.
I have. I didn't realize that.
Very funny. Okay, so there's something called presentations here, and I have these already open up above because I will tell you that that is the one thing that it does take a little bit of time to actually get them to the point where you are in a buyer presentation mode. You have to download them to create the file actually on your computer. I recommend you download these, work on them when you are not planning to rush off to an appointment. It does take a little time because it is it's very heavy graphically. So the graphic information on there is a lot. And so when you're downloading it, it's taking up a lot of space. So it's really important that you do that in advance. They do have two of these. One is a buyer presentation and one is a listing presentation. Most of us as realtors will probably prepare the listing presentation. Most of us that are taking buyers on usually are not having to give a presentation. Doesn't mean you can't do it. We're going to focus on the listing one first, but I'll watch my time and we'll try to get in here and look at the buyer one as well. But here is the listing presentation. Now, why would we use a listing presentation on our computer? What is the purpose of that? Anybody give me a couple of examples?
Yeah, so you can talk while you're kind of showing, and they can look. It creates a visual. And
so is this like a slide presentation that you would be in a meeting hall with a presentation where you're reading everything that's on these slides? No, it's not. It's a conversation starter. And what is it? One other point that we talked about the other day, Dave, since we spoke about it, what is one of the biggest things that this presentation will give you?
Data.
Legitimacy. No, you're good. Data, legitimacy.
Professional appearance, you know, got your shit together.
How big is Realty One Group?
Big.
Big? Anybody?
How big is it? I really don't know.
The fastest growing brokerage are one of them.
We're over 19,000 agents, and it was 18,000 agents about a month ago. Yeah, so we are now at 19,000.
You know, I had this question and I couldn't answer it. How many Realty One Group agents are there in Arizona?
Over 4,000.
Okay, I didn't know the answer.
Yeah.
So we're nationwide or worldwide?
Worldwide.
Ooh.
So if you look at signatures, I can show that to you later, but let's go ahead and go in here and take a look at this. So the one marketing proposal, you can edit each of these screens. You click on it and it will give you the option to change images. You can type in it. This of course has my name already set in here. I must have played with this on another date because this is a May date that I was in here playing with it. So you can go in and adjust this, but you'll notice, go ahead.
Can you add stats in there as well?
We'll get to it. Yep. There are screens you can add stats. Obviously, we've got snow in this photo. This probably is not the photo for Phoenix, Arizona, but you can change that photo, folks, right? The idea, though, is not that you're looking at the snow. It's that you're showing a very professional presentation, right? These are not photos that were taken with, well, you can't even say that today about the iPhone, but these are not photos that were taken with a little digital camera that has no graphic ability, right? These could have been taken with an iPhone these days, but you can change these up, okay? And it repeats some of the things that you will see in marketing materials that Realty One Group provides you all the time. One purpose, opening doors every day across the globe. That's the latest thing that you'll see on our Realty One Group stuff across the globe. So what can you say to a client if this is what has popped up? Realty One Group is all around the world. When I market your home, it doesn't just market to the local neighborhood. It will be visible all around the world, right?
And we have more people moving here than ever.
Right.
So
Right.
that's a great point.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
Nice job.
So here you will see when it says one manifesto, I'm sorry, this is so hard to see. This is Latin. So you need, is it Latin or did this one get updated?
You just double click in any value field and then you can edit.
So you click on each one, depending on what it is, like the one is locked in there, but one manifesto, you can remove the manifesto. Take risks, be bold, save the day. You can change that. You can change the picture, right? And you can change the text at the bottom of this, okay? So there's lots there. And you know what? If you don't want the page, delete the page. What I recommend you do is go through the whole document once yourself, make edits to the entire document of things that you would like to see, save that. Then when you have a client, come back and delete a whole bunch of things you don't want for that client, add the details that you want. I'm going to stop here real quickly on the 6 C's. We talk about this a lot, may or may not be what you want to talk to your client. The first word is commission, and a lot of us shy away from that. But remember, on a listing appointment, it is part of what we're dealing with. But this commission is not what your sellers are paying. This is our commission.
Right.
So I don't know that it has to be in there for a listing presentation, okay? But this, the power of one is just talking about all the different things that combine to be a part of Realty One Group. We are the unbrokerage. Again, some of these I think I would remove, but it's your call. It's your client. It's your presentation. The nice thing is that they're there. You can do what you want with them and edit them or remove them.
Melissa, just real quick, when you're saving it, is it saving within this portal? It's saving locally.
Saves locally.
Okay, thank you.
That's why it takes so long to open up, because it's opening up on your computer.
Gotcha.
You're saving, because otherwise, can you imagine we'd all be saving out there and be able to see each other's
Oh,
presentation?
that makes
So
sense.
no, it's saving locally. So you'll see at some point I wrote, I edited this, right? Talking about me, and then I think I edited, these are photos that were there. You can edit these things, put your client's photos or remove the photo. You have an option, I think, to put a gold circle there, right? Wasn't there a gold circle option? So you can go in and change that out, and that you can upload different things here to what you want. There are Realty One Group logos you can open up, see, and you can put those over there and it will change it. Oh, it flipped it. How did it do that? I have no idea how it did that. I'm not going to worry about it right now, but definitely need to look for that. All right. So why we are number one, you were talking about what's happening right now. These are constantly being updated. So if you save this presentation and you don't go back to the main one at some point, you probably need to go back and at least copy and paste the newer slide in here, because as these data and different awards are given to Realty One Group, they update this slide. So you get the latest information about Realty One Group. So again, I'm not suggesting you download it every, a month or 2 months, but you need to go double check what has been updated out there for Realty One Group. Don't hold on to this for 3 years is what I'm trying to tell you, right? Look to see what they've changed. They tend to change this about every 6 months with some major overhauls, but they are updating these pages at least every couple of months when we get these new awards and new, top 500, Forbes 500. Yes. This one? My description, yeah.
And when I changed the logo's backwards.
Yeah, mine is too. I don't know what I did.
And
I'm not sure why it flipped it. See if nope, it did it to me too. I'm not sure why. And there's probably a way if we worked around this to flip that over. Anybody that's used to working with Canva and stuff, these are, yep.
Try click on it real quick, just in case.
Oh, you have a rotate.
Does it have a thing? Yeah, you have a rotate. So just rotate it up.
It's just
The bar on the bottom.
Okay, you want-
Grab that. Yep. There you go.
No,
I don't know why
it's
it would.
flipped.
Oh, it's still turned.
It's not turned. It's
Oh,
actually,
it's
it's a
a
mirror.
Right.
That's so
It's a
bad.
mirror.
Underneath though, your image on your computer, there's actually a side panel that says rotate. So just like this. It's right over here, but you can't see it because you're.
Oh, I'm over on this side.
I tried that. Didn't work.
That one didn't work either.
Well, we'll figure out the answer to that at some point.
In the meantime, you can just tell everyone that we turn things around for people.
That's right. Well done. Well done. Find a way to do that. So, you know, that's really the important part about this. So Dave, why don't you share that? So Dave, I'm gonna pick on you.
Sure.
So he came in the other day asking for some assistance before he went to a listing presentation, and he walked in with a beautiful folder with all sorts of data in it. And I said, why are you not using the listing presentation? Well, I'm not I don't want to use computers. I prefer the numbers.
Yeah, I just wasn't like I'm not like a PowerPoint guy. I'm more connecting with people rather than this next slide, you know, so, but after Melissa showed me, I used it to kind of complement what the data that I brought in our discussion. And yeah, he seemed to be interested. He was
You nailed the appointment, didn't you?
pretty well. Here's the thing. It was in Sun City West.
Okay.
And the biggest concern, there was a brother and sister, the parents had passed. The sister, who I've known for years, was concerned that I wasn't a
Sun City
West
Yeah.
expert. So I had some rebuttals to that. You know, Melissa actually had some really key points to make, which I did make. You know, I did.
Did you get it?
Well,
We don't know. Oh.
Yeah, but that was her biggest thing. She was like, well, are you a Sun City West expert? I said, well, I'm not a Sun City West expert. I said, but I am an Arizona native. I literally watched Sun City West develop before it was even there. I said, it's not a stretch for me to be enough of an expert to field any question that came my way from a prospective buyer. And then Melissa's point was, okay, you have an expert that's been there since 1976, probably older, right? Are they tech savvy? Do they know how to market out of state? Where's the pool of buyers coming from? Is it going to be within Sun City West? Is somebody going to sell their home at one part of Sun City West and then move to another part of Sun City West? Well, the expert knows that area really, really well. What does he know outside of that area where the buyers are?
Well, and I like to say, Dave, you would be my primary concern where they're beholden to all their inventory that they currently have. And that puts a little bit of the fear in them a little bit, like, well, don't you think they're motivated to sell one that's been on market longer? You know, slave to all, master of none.
Mm-hmm.
And then you really just
Diffuse it.
Yeah, you tell them when can I
Right.
get started.
And I just told him, I said, look, I've got.
Good answer.
That's Officer is an expert
Because I own properties there.
Yeah.
Good point though, Sun City West doesn't move from one side to the other.
No,
No.
They stay there for
sometimes they do,
years.
but not more
It's pretty
often.
rare.
Over 80% are from out of state.
right, and that's
Right.
what I had mentioned. And I said, I have a California network, huge. I lived there for many, many, many years. And I said, that's one of the places I'm going to focus. All my connections, all those people have parents. 250 people per day move to Arizona, most of which are from, LA area or Oregon or Washington.
Illinois, yeah.
So that's the points that I made. And she goes, okay, so I don't know, I don't know, but I mean, I
know you've already got it.
I hope so.
But it was helpful to have
Yes.
some pictures and some information, because it's really easy to say I'm with Realty One Group, but people look at you and go, huh?
What's one real people?
But when you're showing a slide like this, right, why we're number one, it's bigger than you. And use that to help lift your presentation, your information up, right? That's what it's there for. Take advantage of it, right? Because it's there. So, all right. So here's the thing. I kind of laugh. So these are very much, we had the snow and ice in the earlier photo. Now we've got kind of the beach side scene in these photos. It says Laguna Beach, right?
Yep.
So again, you can change the photos, but when you were talking about, is there a place to put data? There's slide after slide. There are different formats, right? So here we've got a top picture. This next one, we've got a beautiful picture, and then we've got recent sales on the right-hand side. You can put little notes. So you can choose one style of this and edit it, or you can have the different styles, right? And then you could duplicate those other ones so that you have more of them. Then you have features that will sell your home. You can focus on this particular property. Yeah, Mike.
Similar listings, is there a way to import?
There's no way to data import and merge because the format wouldn't match, but you're not pulling the whole thing. You could obviously copy and paste if you wanted to put the description down here in this description, but I think you're better off rewording that. Even if you want to use your
you can add a page and
Yeah,
then copy and
that's
paste
what I did.
Comfort and everything in there, like as an image.
yeah, you could pull Cromford Report or one of those. So yeah, any of that will go in there. But here you could do your chat GBT, right? You could put that in there if you want to. I would not copy somebody else's words out of a listing because their words aren't going to be what you want to promo on why that property might be similar to the property you are viewing, right? You're trying to get the listing presentation. You want to try and match up as best you can why you think that property is similar or not similar to your client, the listing you're trying to get. You do want to, I think features that will sell your home is a really great slide. But again, that's your choice. Marketing strategy.
You've been to the house before. You're going there for your first listing.
Correct. You're going there for your first listing, but how many of you asked what has been changed or added to your home? What improvements have you made over the last 5 years, right? Before you go to that listing presentation, right? And if you haven't been there and don't know that information, what type of slide could you put there, or how could you talk about recent sales in the area after you've done your walkthrough through the home, right? If I go back up to this property and I just put up recent sales to the area, and here I've got this slide. Now's the opportunity for me to say, you know, we walked through this home today, and I really appreciate the opportunity to see your really open and great room space. Doesn't quite compare to the upgrades on this other property, which was sold at ... dollars. But we certainly have some advantages in that you have a new air conditioner, which they didn't have. I mean, you can pick and choose. Again, this is not meant to be for you to go over every detail. It's meant to give you the opportunity to hold those conversations with your client and be knowledgeable, look knowledgeable, that you understand the market. Having a slide and then being able to talk about that property puts you in a really good position for them to know that you know what you're talking about, right? That's the idea of the presentation, right? Is you're selling yourself. How do we get you to sell yourself with everything that you have behind you? From our lenders, from our title company, from Realty One Group being all around the world, all around the globe, right? That, I think Sun City West, yes, that is a selling point. You're not getting people from Sun City West buying those homes. You're getting people from Chicago, right, from California, Philadelphia, right? So you can see there are Realty One groups all around the country.
I don't know how they would access our box. It doesn't have a spot big enough for it.
We will mute them. There we go.
I didn't know you taught online too.
Yeah, I try. That is actually that's funny because that's hi Kathy. You were loud, so oops.
Oh, that was Kathy.
Oh no, hopefully I did not just. Oh, here, it's right here. Yeah, it's through Zoom and Facebook. So, all right, so here we have the marketing strategy. As I said, I think this is an opportunity. Let's see if I can do this. It's going to allow me to do a little larger. So these are pretty standard, but you could change something there if you wanted to. If there's something you prefer, the words that you prefer to be able to state, you know, if you wanted to remove video and virtual tour, if you're not doing one of those, you could always remove one of those items, right? I think I was sharing with Dave when we were talking about this, you know, I love the 3D imagery. However, to me, that is a very dangerous tool. That property has to be impeccable for me to do a 3D tour, because every last imperfection is visible. Thank you, Dave. It is so visible. And it can come back to bite you. I remember one of the first properties I sold that had used a 3D tour. We realized later that there had been some issue with the ceiling. And we were puzzled by it. We couldn't remember. I'm like, well, let's go back.
Can you give me 10 seconds so I can watch it? Is that okay? I'm just sorry.
Yes.
What's happening here? People that are need to change that setting to go to mute when they come in. So we took the 3D tour and we went to that room and spun it up and could see the damage to that ceiling, which, funny thing, was not disclosed in the seller property disclosure statement, right? And yet there it was. So to me, I was very careful with when I did that 3D tour. I love the idea of it, but some homes should never have a 3D tour taken of them. So consider that. And again, you could change this. You could just say virtual tour, or you could say video tour. You could add 3D tour. You could add, if you feel drone footage is really important, you could add drone footage there, right? These are all adaptable. You can modify these, okay?
Independent upon property.
Depends on the property, absolutely. What is specific for that property? So again, I would go through the whole thing for yourself, things that you want to change just naturally because of who you are, remove slides that you don't want, and then make sure you're hitting the data points, the slides for things that you want to talk about, right? Determining the price and preparing to sell. Practice this, right? Look at this slide and have a friend come over, have somebody sit there and practice going through this and trying to have that conversation. So you can look at somebody, look at the slide and go, you know, it is really important we work together to determine the price so we can make sure we can prepare your home so it's ready to sell as quickly as possible. And that's going to be market conditions. Is this an opportunity, Mike, where you can pull your data from your Cromford reports and other things to talk about, you know, what is the current market conditions? As we all know, 2022 and 2023 have had huge waves of changes in the market conditions. I'm not sure, and I've been doing this 26 years, I don't think there's been another time when we have literally shifted as much as we have in the short time periods to go up, down, and back again. It's very unusual, right? But that's why you have to have that conversation. You have to be able to talk to the potential seller. And if they're objecting to it, are you going to hit them with a pole? And no, you're going to back off, right? You have to listen to who that is if you want to get that listing. But you know your work is going to be cut out for you if they're not listening to you on what the market conditions are right now.
Yeah, try getting a price reduction or try selling an overpriced listing.
That's right. That's right. So here you'll notice again Latin. So please make sure you go through and change the Latin that is in there. You can just delete it. You don't have to edit it. You can just have the slide say, let's get started. It doesn't mean you have to put something in there, but there is opportunity. The text boxes are already there for you, but you can just delete it. So this is kind of nice. It tells you, says number one is competitive market analysis, going back to your ideas of looking at what's been there. Determine the list prices. Number two, listing agreement and disclosure. Should probably say disclosures if you want to modify that one. Then initiate the marketing plan. 5 is install the lockbox and then install the yard sign. Now, I think you could probably modify 5 and 6 with other things that you might want to say instead of putting the lockbox on. But it does give you an opportunity with that electronic lockbox, how you're providing security for your client. If it's an occupied home, are you using call before showing, right? A CBS code. You can explain that to them so that they're not caught off guard with somebody just walking up and using the lockbox, right? So these are all talking points. Depends on how far you want to go, how detailed you want to go. Sometimes you don't want to go that far in that first conversation, but at least it's there and it gives you the opportunity to address it. Here's one. Yeah.
You know what I would do too is if you want to appear bigger than you are, and say, you know, when you have an assistant or something, then you could be like, the next step is my team interaction, team introductions. This is a great place to sort of set that.
There should be one that talks about team or the opportunity for team. Yes. But again, you can take that earlier slide that it had my photo. You could modify that slide, put it down and create that for team instead of having the references for past sales. You could put team members down there.
Right.
So there are lots of ways to modify these slides. You can also go onto Canva, create another slide and upload it in here. So remember that Canva will work very well to move that over. So maximum online exposure. I think I recommend you leave this in here if you're doing a listing presentation. I think it's one of the best and broadest slides to really talk about all of the opportunities you have to market that listing. It's not just putting a sign in the yard and putting it into our Arizona Regional MLS. So it gives you a good opportunity to show that. Let's see.
Phenomenal.
And this is all free for you guys to work on.
Yeah, I talked about List Hub too.
Was it, there's another slide for List Hub or what? I think
Yeah.
there's another one. Yeah.
Yep.
So-
it's really tiny font.
Okay.
So it's very hard to see all the places that List Hub branches out to.
Okay.
I couldn't even read it.
Dave,
So
that's
as you can see, there's
different,
plenty. Yeah. I
Yeah.
could
I
see.
think you can make it bigger.
You probably, no, because it's inset there. So, but you could get another picture of that if you wanted to. It's in graphics other places. So pricing theory, any guesses what this map shows you? Can somebody share with me? And of course you can get rid of the Latin, but does anybody have an idea, even just looking at the slide?
Sweet spot.
If you start too high, you're trying to chasing the
down.
market,
Yeah.
right? So, you know, again, you can either leave this here or not. There are other slides you can put in there regarding pricing. Here's pricing versus profit. So it talks about timelines and things. Again, maybe you don't include this in yours. Maybe it's something you don't want, but you have the choice to edit this however you want. Here it talks about different media options, global links that you have the ability through Realty One Group. And then it gives you a bunch of customizable pages. Again, you can change the photos, you can change the text and edit these pages how you see fit. If you'll notice, they've got different layouts where a picture is on the right. You've got photos where the picture is on the top. And then just a complete picture. If you say wanted to steal the photo of the front of the home from Google, you could put the photo of the house because Google will have a photo of the house. You just don't know how old that is. If you've got enough planning time, if you ever driven past the house, take a photo and you can upload it because that way you know it's a current photo.
Plus,
right?
then subconsciously they know that somehow it works. People like the sound of their name in their house.
Well, and they have to acknowledge that you actually put some work into it and actually got a photo of their property that they didn't even know you took, right? So again, here's a bunch of customizable slides. We're going to scroll past these. Whoops, text over there.
Is this in a PowerPoint format or is it all?
So
online?
it is in PowerPoint, right? Because you need to edit it. But I recommend, depending on your computer, I recommend you save it as a PDF so that it's locked when you are talking to your client and it's not as big. So when it goes to a PDF, it's a much smaller document than it is as a PowerPoint slide
You
presentation.
mean data-wise?
A size-wise, yes,
Gotcha.
size-wise. Yeah,
Yeah,
the PDF,
usually print this out.
you could print it out. It's a lot of ink. It's a lot of ink.
But it's easier to email.
But you can email it to them
Yeah.
if they
You
want
could email it. But again, I would lock it into a PDF and not, you couldn't email a PowerPoint. It would be too large,
Mhm.
right? So And again, you go all the way down here and you've got a bunch of just ending good photos. I think I would probably put, oh, there's a thank you slide. So usually there's something that just says thank you, and puts a final phrase, whatever you want to put down there. Okay. Now I did leave time, so we're going to jump over to
Would
the-
you show an example just with saving before you go?
Actually, could you
Say
show me
what?
where you found it?
yes.
okay.
Let me go back to, can I get to it?
Prospect guides and presentations.
It's under the design studio. So if you go into Sky Slope, up on, if it's not visible, go to all of your apps. There you go. And or type up under search, type One Design. So it's under One Design right there. There, it's One Design under your Sky Slope. If it's not showing up under your apps, and I can, let me see if I can move this page. Let's see if I can go back to. So here is your One Design Studio, Creative Studio. That's what you're looking for. It is in your Sky Slope, and should be visible that way. And these presentations are all the way at the bottom. I think a lot of people don't realize there's stuff down here, all the way down. Most people stop at the One Flyers. That if you, I'm just going to pop those up just so people can see there are flyers. In case anybody online here is not aware these flyers exist, you guys do not need to create flyers for yourself. They have a multitude of different flyers available, from single agent to partner, and team flyers that give different things on the bottom of them. These flyers you can open up and edit. We'll talk about those on another day, but the One Design Studio has so much information here. If you wanted to create door hangers to put on doors, and walk through an area, again, all of the graphics are available to you. Already prepared.
How do you save it, Melissa? You go, because up in the upper right-hand corner, once I did the listing presentation,
Yes.
it didn't come down as a download necessarily. So when I hit save,
It saves to your dashboard. So like, this is one I created in May. So when you first go into it, it'll go onto your dashboard.
so that if I.
So if I click save, it's saying I haven't edited everything.
Going to, and then it tries to spell check it. That's okay. Back to the One Design.
Yeah.
Okay. And then.
So is it on your actual Realty One dashboard? Oh, okay. So it doesn't save on your computer. So again, even more reason to make sure you save it as a PDF onto your computer when you go to a presentation, in case you don't have good internet connection, you're not having to dial up and get to that. So I'm going to jump over to the buyer side just to give you an idea of what some of these slides have. Now, why might you do a buyer presentation where you want to actually sit down with your client and go over a presentation?
You want to get the buyer broker signed.
You want to get the buyer broker signed. Absolutely. And by the way, again, this does not replace you having your contract and other materials with you in paper. This is just a way to have a presentation that makes you look polished and ready to work for your client, or for the client, right? The person, the customer right now, you're trying to get them as your client. So gives you an opportunity to do that, right? Buy with confidence, that you know that if they're working with you, you are going to show them what is out there. Now, it's repeating some of these. Some of these you may not want with a buyer, right? But it gives you the opportunity to edit these, and it must pull over from the other side because I did not go in here. So it pulled this over from when I did the other one. That's interesting. It does talk about home buying, and it talks about cash, conventional, FHA. If you do a lot of VA, I would probably add a VA section up on that slide, right? It breaks down the parts of a successful transaction, right? With a seller, we know what we're talking about in terms of what the timeline is in terms of getting the home on the market. How many people think that most consumers think that once they've found a home, the agent disappears. Once they've got a contract on a home, the agent disappears. How many people think that consumers?
But I see you at closing now. And I said, no. Call me anytime, we're gonna be there in inspections, we're gonna touch base.
How many of you have a breakdown of what you do during the actual process after you've gotten a contract on the home, or as a listing, what you do to get it under contract, and then what happens after it's under contract? How many of you have that detail?
I don't have a detail, I explain it.
You explain it?
I always said it in bullet points in the email. After we hit one stage, then this would be the next. But,
Okay.
yeah, but putting in here would be.
Okay, but it's an opportunity to talk about all those different steps, right?
Yeah.
What goes into play when you're trying to look for a home? It's not just, you know, oh, hey, I saw a sign, let's go in, and that, what is it? What is it? HGTV, right? You see 3 homes and you write your offer and you get the contract and you're done, right? It's so easy. How many of you have shown more than 50 properties to a potential buyer that hadn't purchased yet?
Oh my God, I'm kidding myself.
Really? Oh no, I've sold more than 50. So, well, you know that. You haven't done enough transactions. We've got Barb here from Epic. How many of your agents have gone and shown multiple properties before they go under contract, or do you not hear those? Yes. So you can, just depends on the market.
That's why you want to be a listing agent.
So how many of you are using the One app? How many of you know about the One app on your phones?
No idea.
I can't figure out how to get it to work with my
So good.
Huh?
stuff.
Wait, okay, so I can't turn on my phone without.
Okay, it doesn't have what?
All the homes on it. I Yes. look for homes that I look online, and then I look on my One app and it's not there. This is the-
Oh, that's interesting. They should be. You might you might back out and reload it because you might have a glitch with the MLS for some reason.
Okay.
So there is a program called the One app. We've done conversations about this and how to use it, but this is an opportunity for you with a new buyer to get, hopefully you already have their cell phone number, but give them the One app, connect them while you're looking at this. The reason for this is so they're not on Zillow and they're not on Redfin and they're not on something else that is sending them to other agents, right? If they have an issue, that they're going to call you. If they want to see a property, they're going to call you because your number is the one that's going to come up when they look at those homes.
I haven't been able to figure that one out.
This is so
To have it
cool.
with
So-
my information on it. That's probably another training day.
There is another training day, but if you go under your, it's invite to the app, you send them the invitation, but you need to make sure it has your data in there.
Right.
So we can do it on another day, but so this is talking about some of the other tools, right? New Home Source Pro, which we have access to. Real Scout, which you can set up on your web page. There's an extra page you can add. It's a landing page that is a search engine. It is another option, another tool that we have. These are tools on that, on the zone, when you go in there and look at this stuff, right? And then it goes on to the winning strategy. You can edit this however you want, or you can delete that slide. A brand that's known and trusted, obviously, is talking about Realty One Group. And then again, the slide about how large Realty One Group is. Then it's going to give you those customizable pages at the end. I think for a buyer presentation, a lot of these you would probably edit out. I don't think you would need all of these, but it is a great opportunity. I probably would add a slide, as you were talking about earlier, about having your buyer broker agreement. Why should they hire you? Why is that important? Okay. And then to me, that would lead right into, and here is that buyer broker agreement. Let's get that signed, right? So this is just an opportunity. I don't know if it's for everyone, but I wanted to show it to you so you have the opportunity to start working on it, because I do feel when Dave came to me the other day, he was like, oh, I'm heading over to this appointment in 2 hours. And I'm like, well, let's take a stab at this. And he did. He got it edited in about an hour. We got it edited and we deleted a lot of slides because that was easier, right? We got rid of some of the stuff. but he was able to take it just to help support his presentation. Okay. So questions about these while I still have, whoops, I put it back to the selling one, but questions for people here? I know we've got people online. I can open them back up here. Folks, anybody online? I do have several of you. I had closed down the mics on some of you. So if you want, I think you have to raise your hand if you want to ask any questions. Sarah and Lisa, I see you there. If you had any questions, we'll take those. But anybody else, any other questions?
Just much gratitude, so much gratitude.
Gratitude, we like that.
Thank you.
Any other questions from people? Anything that we've got Barb here from the lending side? Do you ever go on listing appointments with agents if needed? Or you'd be going with buyers, by a buyer appointment?
Buyer,
Sure. Sure.
but I'm always available.
Okay. Title, you guys don't end up getting involved at that point. That's after the fact.
No, I've been asked to go as extra support at open houses, to help with open houses. What? So I've done a lot of that. I can't do the open house by myself because
Right.
I'm not licensed, but I can go with to be extra support in an open house, to where I've done that before, where somebody thinks they're gonna have a high traffic and it's an occupied house. If they've got a seller that's really nervous about people being in and they want somebody to help kind of, you know.
Well,
And I just kind of, oh, I love this. Did you check this out? Did you see this? This is really cool. And they don't really realize that I'm who I am. They half the time they think I'm just another buyer that's thinking, yeah.
This is like the nicest group of people.
and Barb, do you ever go to open houses?
I just did one on Saturday.
And are you able to pre-qualify buyers while they're there?
Yeah,
So-
I've also had agents call me at open houses or under the buyers who follow their home.
So you do over the phone pre-quals. That is very, very helpful right now. Gives you a good advantage to know whether they're qualified. I know some of our teams that do large open houses, they have lenders with them at those open houses to make sure that they find out whether those buyers are pre-qualified. I'm going to go ahead and jump right back since we have just a few more minutes here. I'm going to jump back over here to this, the rest of some of the design things here. Just, I'm going to start from the top. I'm going to go down to, I'm going to get out of One Lux. That's for a luxury marketplace. So for those of you that are doing digital ads and digital things, social media, there are branding already prepared slides, digital slides.
Facebook,
Mhm.
blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yep. And the posts are already designed. Your email signatures. Oh, that's weird. That is usually those are not the email signatures. That's funny, but there are other email signatures, but this, if you want the black ones. But holiday posts, if you're looking for something for a holiday, these are always being updated. And we always get one from the company anyway that you can forward on. But there's a ton of these already there that already have the graphics in them.
Holy cow.
They cover everything. It's really kind of fun. Look, Oceans, Save Our Oceans, World Oceans Day.
There was a heat one about that.
Was there a heat one?
Yeah, heat.
Let's bring the heat this summer. Oh no, well, that's, yeah. We don't have that here.
You already have it.
Can we-
Heat from here, I didn't.
Can we cool off? Can we cool off, please? Okay. But if you got a new listing, you could do just listed. There are open houses. These are already prepared. You can go in here again, you click on create the design and you can upload you can change your photos out. You can change the address. It is all editable. Okay. What you have to do is click create design. So it opens up to your computer to be able to make those changes.
Do you just go back to, oh, you mean, I see it now.
Right.
So
So
you select the option and you go create, and then it might ask you to create design after that list.
yeah, that bottom one had create design again. It was in the middle of it and then it splits once you open it. This way you can enter your MLS information or the address there.
Would it save it again then in my design? In the portal?
It probably is going to save it in your
Okay.
in your dashboard. So, but again, there are lots of different options here.
Go over to Canva too.
I believe you can take stuff from Canva and bring it into this. Because these are so already pre-formatted, I mean, unless you're putting a picture of something in there, you probably wouldn't need to merge these two, but you can use your Canva, and in Canva, you can take stuff from, well, not from here. You actually would go back into SkySlope. There is a section on branding. You can take the branding stuff from there and put it into your Canva. So you can take all the Realty One, like logos and stuff you saw that popped up, you can drop those into your Canva so you can edit your Canva just like they've done, but they've pre-populated. They've got graphic people that are doing these layouts for us, and they modify these. There are new ones all the time being added. Okay, so, but again, you can take this. These are typically sized for your Facebook or Instagram. Now, they're not meant for the lives, right? That you would have to look elsewhere to see if they've got something.
What do you mean by the lives?
If you're doing a reel or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
So you could do profile banners. These can go on top of a website. You can do on top of your Facebook if you wanted to put that on top of your Facebook. There are so many things in here. You can spend hours just on the Design Studio exploring each of these different pages. Okay.
That's my favorite.
Well, but it just
rabbit hole.
depends on what you're looking for, right? If you don't have a Twitter account, you don't need to look at the Twitter banners, right? You just moved in, move on. You've got LinkedIn banners, so you can put stuff up on your LinkedIn that's specific to Realty One Group. If you're doing something on the OneSuite, you can change those. So there are lots of different ones, and they have over on the left-hand side, you'll see they've got areas where you can jump right to that section if you wanted to change out your Facebook banner. Okay.
It's all precise, like there's no reason to go on Canva.
Well, these things are preset. No, I mean, there are reasons to go on Canva if you're looking for other stuff.
Gotcha.
But, you know, if you're doing stuff for, I believe, Instagram, here are your story posts. So they do have a blank, I guess it's just for you to create it there. There's nothing there. So testimonials, again, it's just giving you backgrounds and ways that you can add comments from your clients. Sometimes with a photo, other times without. Most times we don't have photos of our clients, so you don't have to do that. Again, brochures, if you're trying to create something, some type of brochure, I believe these are foldable. Depends on what the actual size is. But this looks pretty.
It would be like if you like, I'm sure one loves for the luxury listings when they want those high-end, they're not right. Okay.
Yes, and there are a lot of brochures here as well. I'm sorry, there are a lot of business cards if you want stuff for there. But I think the postcards and flyers are the two that I've seen people in the office use the most. Some of these are two-sided. Here's a double-sided one right here. So if you'll notice, you have a photo, you've got a description and some basic info, and then you've got a second page that has more photos. Again, all the photos are replaceable. The nice thing is that black that is customized, that is our black tone that we have, is already designated there, and it's already detailed. So you don't have to try to find what color black you're using. Although that is on our branding pages, if you want to know that for print, and for trying to find the right match, the right color, you can do that. All right, so we've got about 10 minutes. Is there, you want me to keep going through these? I can, to show you some more of those. The other one are these postcards. Of course, these are going to be your coming soon, your, whoops. Yep, there you go. See, coming soon. Should have just sold, welcome postcards, somebody that's just moving in. Again, coming soon. We should have open houses here someplace.
Melissa?
Yes.
It's Lisa online.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. Just a random question for a future class. This one's amazing. Is there anything on the docket in the future for going over the kind of stock Realty One Group branded websites in the how-to of that?
That is taught actually through Rock Title. Once
Monday morning.
every Monday morning they work on that. But I would look at Rock Title. If you are not signed up for Rock University, go in and sign yourself up for the Rock University, because they do go over the actual how to create that. Yeah. And so a lot of this stuff is covered on the Rock University training on the OneSuite. But I knew that the presentations had not been done for a while, so wanted to make sure that we went and discussed those. It came up last week, but for those of you that would like to make suggestions for what I cover on these Monday Masterminds, there is a survey in your newsletter. We changed up the graphics on it, hoping that you would realize there was a survey there that you have to click on. And we're just asking you to give us suggestions for what you would like to see on Monday mornings as we continue to do these. 3 Mondays a month, I will be doing them. 1 Monday, I'm in a manager's meeting. So the 4th Monday, we've got to figure out who does that presentation, and also how to get that on the Zoom, because I'm not sure how to do that when I'm not here, but we'll figure that one out at some point.
Okay, thanks so much. Yeah.
Thanks, Lisa. Okay. Any other questions from here about these? Because otherwise we're close to our hour.
We still have 7 minutes.
I know we still have, well, ask me a question. Oh, well, sure, we can do that. Anybody got any? Well, let me stop recording actually. Thank you guys online, and we're gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen here, and I'm gonna end the recording.